All right, good day, people. All right, so we're looking at Grayscale. We got a Grayscale Decentralized Finance Fund. All right, so it's the DEFG. Current share price is $17.75. For some of you who want exposure to the crypto market, but maybe don't trust the crypto market, you don't have a lot of experience trading in the market, this is a safe way for you guys to have exposure to it by actually taking on shares in the stock market and then just allowing the company itself to have the exposure and do all the legwork. All right, so this is based off the decentralized finance, and so Grayscale have holdings on certain DeFi type products or projects, so to speak. So this is a great way to get exposure. I think it's really good for kids or young adults. You can build your indexes, and you can have those exposures, and you can benefit from not trying to find a unicorn and trying to benefit from one massive coin taking off, even though that those percentage gains are bigger, right? But if you're someone who is conservative and want to minimize risk, this is a great way to do so. All right, so the inception date was in um, July 2021, but the OTC, which is traded over the counter markets, that date was actually in December of 2022. So that's when it went live on the OTC market. Um, at first, they started out with about 50 million under this management, this asset. Now it's up to 2.8 billion. So that means there's a lot of institutional inflow coming into this. So that's pretty good. It's 233,960 outstanding shares. All right, so I like that as well too. Now, it's going to follow the price historical performance just like Bitcoin. However, we may find out that there's some real good upside opportunities that you may not get with Bitcoin. So pay attention. You may see what I'm talking about. All right, let's go ahead and look at the holdings. We got Uniswap, Maker, Lido, Aave, Synthetics, and Curve. So the biggest in here is at 40% is Uniswap. So they really believe in this and Uniswap. That's for sure. Okay. All right. Now let's go look at the charts. All right. So we got Bitcoin up here on this chart. All right. And what I want to do is I'm going to also add in. Let's go ahead and add in. We're going to do. We're going to bring up this chart and let's go to a bigger screen. All right. So down at the bottom is decentralized finance from Grayscale. I'm on a daily chart. It doesn't look like much, right? Because it's new. It just came out in December of 2022. So it doesn't have a lot of historical data like Bitcoin. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up. All right. So you guys can see. All right. So right here on December 22nd, let me do this. I put it over December 22nd, right here. All right. So down at the bottom, you see that we dropped, but we also was rising on Bitcoin. All right. But we had a drop. Now, let's go back to March. All right. So March 3rd, all right, we had a massive drop, but then we started to recover. We got a pin bar that formed down here, and we started to make our move up. So I want to measure down here at the bottom for where we were for December. I mean March. And let's get to its highest point. All right, so right, the highest point was it's around 233% gain. Okay, now let's go back over here to March. March 3rd. we didn't start ascent for Bitcoin until around March 9th. All right, we're going to take it up to the highest point here, 60%. Now, that's what I want to show you guys. All right, so if you would have traded Bitcoin, you would have made 60% gain on your money when it got to the highest point. That in July. And over here, ours peaked out around these September, right? September 11th. But if you would have bought here at the bottom, and that's assuming you got to the bottom, nobody's going to pick a bottom, so we never would have knew that. But we're just looking back at hindsight right now. But a 233% gain on an asset that you have exposure to instead of actually owning the actual product. So yes, somebody could buy Bitcoin and they can enjoy the 60%, but you also could have bought this ETF and you could have enjoyed a 233%. Now watch this. You can sell half of whatever your earnings were. Of course, you're going to have to pay short-term tax, but you could turn around and take whatever's left over and you could roll it over into Bitcoin. So you could be able to do that. That could have been a strategy. Right now, I think that's a little bit too sophisticated for the average person, but they're just showing you that you can take your gains because it's no different than taking gains from altcoins and rolling it into Bitcoin. All right, so we see that. Now, let's play around. Let's look and let's see what would it be for Bitcoin to get back to its all-time high about right here. So it take about 155%. Okay. Now, because our all-time high was right here, all right, that's not going to be much for Probit, but I'm going to show you something. All right, you're talking about only 53%, but watch this. There are other there are other indexes like this one. All right. So let's do this. Let's go back to what? The all-time high, because this one has more price data. All right. So this is when Bitcoin dropped. And over here, the same thing. You know, this is the retest. See this retest up here? Same thing over here. All right. So if we from here up to here, what do we have? So this may be better move. Here we go. 433%, guys. So what I'm trying to say is the next time we get ready for a bull run, would it be beneficial to look at Bitwise Industry Innovators ETF and to invest into this ETF that if it follows the same trajectory as Bitcoin, then we will have a 433% gain versus 155%. Now, if you're the type of person that falls in love with the idea of, hey, I just own Bitcoin, I mean, that's one thing. And you can go in and you can just invest in it. Okay. But personally, for me, I would probably do a mixture, have some exposure into the ETF and some exposure into Bitcoin as well too. As far as um, for my family's sake, it's basically when you accumulate Bitcoin, that's you own it, it's yours. You're taking a supply out of the ecosystem, you hold it on to it, and it's something that your family can have for as long as the blockchain network can sustain itself and be relevant. I don't know if another technology can replace it or whatever, but for right now, as long as uh, you know the engineers, the decoders, developers continue to work on improving and upgrading the blockchain, we should be fine. So that's one of the reasons why, yes, you would still want to have some exposure to Bitcoin, but if you're just one of those type of person, just a numbers person, it makes no sense. You might as well just go ahead and go with the ETF that holds it and is buying it. You may have a better, chance of return. Now, I ain't planning on going over coin, but I do want to look at it. I want to see what's going on with them because I hadn't looked at them in a while. But there could be some arbitrage opportunities as well too on coin. If you look and you see this November thing, even though we didn't get back up here to an equal high, we'll still try to fight to get here. But remember, Um, if Bitcoin is struggling, you definitely going to know that Coinbase is going to be taking a hit, and so it did. All right, so we dropped down. All right, now, all right, so we let's say coin wants to get back to an all-time high. We're talking about, and I don't even know if I could call it all-time high because I'm sorry, not an all-time high, but back to its original highs before it dropped. So because it hasn't made an all-time high yet, coin hasn't made one. All right, we're talking about even 478% gain on your money if the crypto markets do recover and it tries to fight back to at least where it was at. Now, how can we find out where potentially coin could go? Well, what I do is I do a inverse measurement using my Fibonacci extension tool. So I could take this right here, all right, and I would treat it like a inverted, right? And so I would take this. So based off that particular move, if Coinbase follows trajectory, $471 would be its new all-time high. And if it breaks that, the second one would be 545. Up there from 545, we possibly could get to 761. And then from 976 and then up to $1,108 a share. Will Coin be one of the type of companies that eventually do stock splits? I believe so. Once that price gets up that high, they know they're going to be running out of real estate with people being able to afford that. So if that's the case, you can expect stock splits into the future. Which, if they do, I'll probably be one of the ones knocking on the door. Yeah, I would love to get in that. Now, let's look and see where Coin was at its absolute bottom, which came in December. And from December up to here, we had a 240% gain, which was still more than Bitcoin. So we could have, once again, I'm just doing the absolute bottom. We can't time the bottom. I don't know what that was. That's why people cost dollar average in. But even if we on this pullback, we're still up 139% if we were to get in on these bottoms. Okay. You're not going to be able to say that right now on Bitcoin. If we go to Bitcoin's chart, you're not probably going to be able to say, hey, I'm up 139% from these lows. But let's go ahead and see. I could be wrong. So from here to here, all right, so it's best we up between 74 and 75% based off this pullback. So now I'm just showing you guys that there are some indexes out there. Start looking at some of the companies. It's another one out there like that does the mining. Let me see if I can find it for you. All right, here we go. So we got Riot. So Riot is a mining. All right. All right. So let's go back and let's look at this. And Riot been around for a while. So this is no new kid on the block. Okay. So pay attention to this. But we got once again, so they February 2021, March, April, we get crushed. And then by November here. Okay. So let's see what it would be, or let's just see what it was too back here in December when it dropped and it moved. Now look at that, guys. Had people been paying attention, right? Move over 582% from the same lows up. Okay. Now from up to now, it's still up around 207%. Still not bad, right? Now watch this. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to be able to make it back up to these levels. Maybe, may not. But let's say Bitcoin go on this ridiculous bull run and just we just kill it, right? Well, even if we get back to 2021's highs, we're at 410%. All right, and then we get to 647, and then we get up to here, which was February 2021 for Riot. You're up to 769% gain on your money. Now, if we measure these and we get the impulses up to the top, we could be looking at this. All right, I see a 99, $100 Riot coin. Share. That's 993% gain on your money. And of course, it hits target number two up to 1,200. Now, most of you be looking at this and saying to yourself, hey, we can make those gains in altcoins. Yes, you can, but at the same time too is there's not many people that can make these gains in the stock market like this. So, but if this is connected, then you may have what we call it just feels a little bit more safer for you. It's not volatile. You're not worried about platforms. You're putting your keys into a wallet and you're pulling out and all that stuff. This is for people who love the stock market, and this might be the play. So you got exposure, so you can do this. And we just went over a few of these. So there's more of these out here. You just have to go and do the research, um, and you may find out that hey, this might be a better thing to look at too. So pay attention. See if you see some arbitrage opportunities. See if you may notice that if you study this enough, you may see that one may move before the other to give you an opportunity to take advantage of. You may see a price pattern that uh, one may show to give a hint of what may happen. So we see that sometimes with these ETFs, they drop drastically in price. If Bitcoin is to be cleared for a ETF, the question is, could it drop? And here's the reason why you have to ask that. XRP had a monumental case that they won, and it still couldn't break $1. So just because everybody's bullish don't mean everything has to go bullish. All right, these markets are massively manipulated. It's a lot of things going on the back end, and you have to make sure that you're in position to capitalize off that if that is the case. All right, so I'm done for today. Hit the like button, subscribe. It's your boy E White. I'm out. Enjoy your weekend. Go 49ers.